Hi everybody, it's Corey again. I had a couple of people request information about my experience pre-op, so from when I started my journey till surgery day. There isn't a whole lot of information other than kind of going through doctor's appointments, but I'll try to give a brief outline of what I went through, just if you're somebody that's looking to have the surgery done and haven't even started your journey yet, kind of what you can look forward to or what you would need to do. Again, this was my experience. My insurance thankfully paid for my surgery, so different doctor's offices may require different things. Different insurances may require different things. If you're paying it for out of pocket, you may not have to do any of these steps. But this is my journey that I had to go through. So I started my journey on August 4th of 2019. I had to attend a informational meeting. It's a group meeting that my doctor's office provides before that you can meet with any doctors, kind of giving you an overview of what surgery is like, the surgeries they offer, what your life is before and after surgery, and what kind of foods you can eat. Just a very general information about everything. I then had to attend 6 weigh-in appointments. It ended up being 9 for me because of COVID. But during these meetings, you would go weigh in, and what I had to do is I had to lose between 3 to 5% of my body weight to get approved for surgery for my insurance. It wasn't a whole lot for me. It was about 15 to 20 pounds, but I wasn't super heavy. I mean, I was at 309 pounds at the start, so I mean, I was heavy, but with it only being the 300s, it wasn't a huge amount that I had to lose before surgery. But again, losing any kind of weight before surgery is a challenge, so it wasn't easy, and thankfully I had 9 months to achieve that goal. I also, during those weigh-in appointments too, you also had to measure your nicotine levels to make sure that you weren't smoking. So for my insurance, I had to be smoke-free for 6 months. Some insurances require you to be smoke-free for 6 weeks. Some require you to be smoke-free for a year. All depends on your insurance, or again, if you're not insurance, you may not have to be smoke-free for that long. Again, that's something you have to check in. But for mine, it was 6 months. I also then met with the doctor each of those weigh-ins or one of the PAs and just kind of went over information. What am I eating? Am I trying to practice good eating habits, drinking water, going for walks, exercising? We also had to fill out a kind of like a chart every appointment going, am I drinking enough water? Am I cutting out sugars? Am I cutting out bad foods? Am I exercising? What kind of exercise am I doing? Am I making sure to slow down eating my meals to 20 to 30 minutes? Am I taking smaller bites? Am I eating smaller portions? So it was nice because it gave you a 1 through 5 rating. 1, I'm not doing it at all. 5, I'm doing everything. So that way every month you'd go in and you can go, okay, yes, I'm doing better at this, because they'd give you it back at the end of the session. That way you can go, okay, yes, I know I'm doing good at this. No, I'm doing bad at that. I need to work on this. And they can kind of give you or go over information to you with you about what you can do to better that habit if it's something you're not doing well. I also, in that time frame for my weigh-ins, had to attend 2 group nutritional appointments. A very general outline of what we can eat before, what we can eat after, going through the 3 phases of liquids, purees, and soft foods, what portion sizes look like before and after, what they'll look like on the long run. The kind of proteins we can drink. So like, they say that Premier Protein and Undri and those kind are good for you, and what the difference is between meal replacement proteins and just normal proteins, what we should be drinking before, what we should be drinking after, making sure that what vitamins we should be taking, or should we be taking bariatric fusion, should we be taking, Walmart, whatever vitamins, but they'd go over everything that was good for you and things that we should also avoid. We also had a one-on-one nutritional appointment during that time frame, kind of going over what was best for our bodies, what we should be eating, what portion sizes look like, what proteins would be best for us or we liked. If there's something we've tried and we wanted to try something else, they gave us 1,000 different samples of proteins, 1,000 different samples of vitamins. It was a lot, which is nice though, because we got to try everything beforehand, so I know, okay, if I'm buying 6 cases of Premier Protein, which I did before surgery, I knew that I was going to like each of those flavors. It also helped that my husband bought me like 7 different flavors of protein. That way, just little 4-packs to figure out which ones I like the best, which I figured out that I don't like peaches and cream. It's gross. it's very artificial. That's not my favorite one. I don't like it. Anyway, so then I also had to have a psych evaluation done during those 6 months also, just to make sure you're of sound mind, you know what you're doing to your body, that the change in the surgery are unreversible, they're pulling out a part of your organ, and that you can't just grow it back. You can stretch it back out, which would be a really bad thing. I mean, you went through all this work for them just to not for the stomach just to be there again and you to be eating the same thing again. Just, it wouldn't be worth it. But just to make sure that you understand what you're doing, they talked to me about what surgery was going to be like, what steps the doctor would have to take during surgery, what my life was before, what my life was after. Is my relationship good with my family? Do I have a support person? Is my relationship good with my husband? They got very thorough just to make sure that I had a good mental place to be in after surgery, just because depression can happen. You're cutting out your best friend. I mean, that's why we're all going through this change, because our best friend has caused us to gain a lot of weight. And I mean, some of us too, it's become our best friend in our addiction. So they just want to make sure that you're in a good mental place for after surgery, because depression can kick in. It can kick in at any time, and especially with not having that support object to kick back on, there's nothing for it to not flare up at that point in time. And then other than the psych eval, the last thing I had to do was a final weigh-in to make sure that I lost enough weight, and that they submitted everything to insurance. And then insurance, of course, approved. And at that point is when COVID kicked in. So I had to do 3 virtual check-ins with my doctors to make sure that I was still losing weight, which I was, thankfully, and to make sure that I was, in a good place for surgery. So that was really my whole experience for pre-op. Wasn't anything too crazy. I really enjoyed my doctor's office just because they're very thorough, and they tell you, especially right before surgery, that just because surgery is happening doesn't mean you're done with us. They're there for the rest of your lives. If anything were to happen, they're there for you. So it's a huge support group, especially for my experience, just to have them. But if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me, comment here, or comment on my Instagram, just because I look at either of those. But everyone have a great day.